So preseason is about to kick off tonight. Super hyped. The NFL season is pretty much officially back in action. A week ago, we had the Hall of Fame game. Trey Lance put on quite a show, as he should have been. Third overall draft pick, 2021. A lot of people were kind of somewhat overreacting to that performance, but that's exactly what he should have done, man. Like, you're going against 2 and 3s. You should put on a show like that. But tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, the Cleveland Browns have their preseason opener, and it is reported that Shedeur Sanders will be starting this game. And what's pretty exciting is that he really should start most of this game, just because of all the injuries the Browns quarterbacks are dealing with, and it's just an incredible opportunity for Shedeur. I know that might sound like a bit of an overhype of this first preseason game, but come on, bro. It's not often that QB4s are starting in the very first preseason game. QB4s are QB4s for a reason. They usually get in there the second half of most preseason games. And currently, Joe Flacco is probably going to be the starter week 1, so it doesn't really make a lot of sense for Joe Flacco to obviously play in this first preseason game. I would imagine he would probably play for a drive or two, or maybe a quarter, week 2 or week 3 of the preseason, but come on, Joe's been around forever. There's really no point in him playing at all. And Kenny Pickett is the QB2 or QB1, whatever you want to call it, but he's currently dealing with a hamstring injury, so not going to be available. And also Dillon Gabriel also dealing with a hamstring injury. So if it wasn't for those 2 injuries, man, Kenny Pickett probably would have started this game along with Dillon Gabriel behind him, and then Shedeur probably would have got some reps during the fourth quarter or something like that. So I just think it's important to keep that in perspective, that, like I just mentioned, this is just a huge opportunity for Shedeur. And they recently signed Snoop Huntley to be the QB5 just because of all those injuries I just talked about. So I really feel like it's the Browns' best interest to really start Shedeur the whole game, in my opinion. We'll see if it actually goes down like that. And I'm just super happy that we have a pretty intriguing headline for week 1 of this preseason. Pretty blessed, to be honest. A lot of people have their opinions on Shedeur. I definitely haven't been the biggest fan of him, just with how he had some quotes around the scouting combine. You know what, man, that's all in the past. Today's a new day, tomorrow's a new day, so show me what you got, Shedeur. It's your chance to prove everyone wrong and to really put on a show and to really put into perspective on what a successful preseason look like for Shedeur Sanders. A year ago, Joe Milton went off in the preseason, and he just dominated every single game. He just looked like a complete beast out there. I feel like if Shedeur could have a similar kind of output that Joe had a year ago, I think that would be a huge win. Also, a few years ago, Kenny Pickett and the Steelers looked amazing in the preseason, won the preseason Super Bowl, in my opinion. I don't know if any of you guys remember that, but they looked great. And obviously, it was just preseason because week 1, they played the Niners at home and they got completely crushed. But still, man, if Shedeur could just bring his stock up with all the preseason action that he's going to get in the next 3 weeks, I think that's the ultimate goal. And I think that's a very, very doable goal, in my opinion. So let me know what you think about this news. Are you excited to see Shedeur play? Do you think he's going to do well, or do you think he's going to flop? Let me know in the comments below. Now, all in all, there's a lot of people who are kind of taking the wrong kind of approach towards this opportunity for Shedeur. A lot of people think this is going to be a dress rehearsal for him. A lot of people think oh yeah, if Shedeur does great, he could be the starter for the Browns this upcoming season. He could be the future starter for 2 and 3 years. Listen, man, even if hypothetically Shedeur Sanders puts on a show like Joe Milton did a year ago, he is not going to be the Cleveland Browns starter for the foreseeable future, because in all likelihood, the Browns are going to have 2 very high draft picks for the 2026 season. their own first-round draft pick, and also they have the Jacksonville Jaguars first-round draft pick. And guess what? The 2026 draft is going to have some real QBs available. You know, there are some reports of Arch Manning maybe declaring for the 2026 draft. If I was in his corner, I would definitely advise him to stay in college for one more year, just because the Cleveland's going to have a lot of ammunition to move up to that number 1 pick or number 2 pick if they don't already have it in the palm of their hands. But besides Arch Manning being available or potentially available, you also have guys like Cade Klubnik. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce his name. Sorry, I haven't been watching a lot of Clemson games over the past year or two. And you also have Drew Aller. I think that guy is going to be really, really good. You also have that LSU quarterback. So all in all, the 2026 draft class for the quarterbacks is going to be a lot higher end than what we got in 2025. I feel like it's going to be more of a comparison to the 2024 class, which of course was all time. So yeah, man, if I had to make a prediction, I think it's incredibly, incredibly unlikely that Shedeur Sanders is going to be the future starting QB for the Browns for the next 5 years. That's just not going to happen. I'm sorry, that's just not going to happen. If I was in Shedeur's corner, if I knew him personally, I'd be like, bro, listen, just get your stock up, rebuild your brand, rebuild your reputation in the NFL, say the right things, be a professional, and ball out this preseason. And when you get your opportunities in the regular season, take advantage of them. And then I would imagine that if his stock is up, his stock is good, he will generate trade interest in the 2026 offseason, and the Browns will probably move. Because in my opinion, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to have a guy like that as your backup if you're going to draft a franchise quarterback in the 2026 draft. But that's just me, man. Let me know if you agree with me. Or do you think, if Shedeur hypothetically turns up and has an amazing preseason, that the Browns will just give him the keys for the QB1 position for the next 2 or 3 years? I mean, it's possible. The Browns are a pretty incompetent franchise, but I really think they're just going to go and draft a quarterback in the 2026 draft. It just makes way too much sense. But regardless, man, step by step, excited to see what he has in store, and I hope he doesn't flop, because it's not really fun if Shedeur would just come out and just be a bad NFL player. I hope he does well, just because I feel like that would just add extra attention and drama, and at the end of the day, the NFL is entertainment, so more entertainment, more storylines, the better. So Shedeur Sanders, I'm rooting for you. I hope you put on a show, man. So yeah, man, let me know if you agree with my predictions for the future of the Browns, and what do you think about Shedeur tomorrow night. Let me know in the comments below. If you made this far, please subscribe and like the vid. It'd help out your boy a ton. That's all I got for right now. Peace.
But a great job by the O-line. And the point after is good. The Lions back now for the return. Going to look to try and get back on top. Scores 14-13. It'll be a touchback. The Lions have impressed today with some of these deep passes. Stafford's been showing off that cannon he has for an arm.
Yeah, he's got it all, doesn't he? When you watch him throw the football down the field, you can see the arm strength, but the biggest thing is you can see that wonderful touch on the football. He is laying that football in there right on the money.
First down at the 20. Looking long. And it's knocked down.
That's what you have to do as a defensive back. You got to wait to the last second. Wait till the receiver uses his hands. And once they go up, put your hand in between them and knock that football down. What a play. When you run the football like this and you show toughness, There is no doubt when you fake it and try to throw the football down the field, the quarterback's going to have all day to get it done.
And here's the toss. He's brought down. That's going to bring up 4th down.